Hello, and thank you so much for joining us today for our Made in Texas interview series. Today we are joined by Aric Laferriere and Jarrett Lambo, the executive producers of the HGTV miniseries Fixer Upper, The Lakehouse.
We did it. We've got the Lakehouse.
10 years at Fixer.
Oh, 10 years. Let's go. I bought that Lakehouse for our 10-year celebration.
I love this house. I love this view.
If you're familiar with Chip Gaines, he sort of marches to the beat of his own drum. And in this, I think, instance, this was a house he purchased because I think he scored a good deal on some real estate on the lake. And it doesn't come up for sale very often, so I think he jumped at that opportunity.
Also, I think for Joanna, she's long wanted to kind of stretch her wings from a design standpoint, and this particular project allowed for that. It was this combination of, it was really mostly a mid-century house, which I guess they also said that touched on some sort of Spanish.
Spanish revival?
And that was something that she was seeking to do as well.
Can you guys speak a little bit about, or speak a little bit to the work that goes into trying to find fresh, interesting ways to, showcase Waco again and again?
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot to say about Waco. I think Waco, for Chip and Joanna, it's such an important part of who they are. It's their home, it's where they raise their family, it's where their community is, and it is very much an integral part of Fixer Upper. Early on in the series, and this was it's not a criticism, but lots of shots of pastures and cows and windmills.
Yeah.
And even Jo herself was like, can we evolve that? Can we find other ways to highlight Waco? And so I think in a sense, even in something as simple as B-roll, we've tried to take opportunities to look for another side of the city.
You see it almost every day that you're there, how quickly this area is transformed, especially around the silos to, I guess what I'd call like the downtown district. I don't exactly know what it's like. But it's
maybe not the scale of Austin, but it is
It's changing
impressive.
fast, yeah. And so I think if you were to ask them, what are they most proud of? That, and then at the same time, if you were to also ask them, they still probably would tell you, hey, there's a lot of people here who feel left out, and they want more than anything, I think, to help support lower income aspects of Waco as well. And that's something we often talk about.
And something they do often behind the scenes.
Yeah. They're pretty private in that stuff, but they do a lot to help out as well in that regard.
So this series marks the 10-year anniversary of the first episode of Fixer Upper, which is this momentous milestone for any TV show to get to. Can you speak a little bit about what the process of celebrating that anniversary, that milestone, was like for the cast and the crew involved?
In the episode itself, you're seeing people, Marvin, one of them, Joanna's design team. These are people that have been along for this entire process. We feature the design team in every episode in some capacity, but in particular, we celebrate them at the sort of finale of this one. And that was Jo's idea. She wanted to give a nod. Of course, there's a lot of stuff on the cutting room floor, but, I go back to the community, all of these people, and the people that we invited back from all over the years. Everyone was happy to come. There were more that were excited to come but couldn't. And I think that's a testament to what Chip and Jo have sort of built.
That's awesome. Well, the two of you both have been working in reality TV for many years. I was wondering if there's anything that you can speak to that makes producing that type of program in Texas unique, the experience.
I think the landscape is incredibly unique. That's something is not a Texan, born and raised myself. That is something I always appreciate, and I think in Fixer Upper and in other series we do is the landscape of Texas is very much a part of it.
I was gonna say the staff here is it's great. I think because they're not in LA or New York, we've pretty much worked with the same group of people for the entire time that this production company's been in existence.
And we've developed relationships with other Texas-based production companies, and it's a great community of, there was a period in our industry where that was, you knew other folks, but it wasn't really a community in a sense of like helping each other out. And I think the way the industry has shifted, there's a community in Texas. We talk all the time, and we've played a couple rounds of golf with some of the other companies, and it's just a chance to sort of check in and what are y'all working on? How can we be helpful to you, and vice versa. And it's been that's something I haven't experienced in production that I've worked on in Los Angeles or New York.
Well, can you tell our viewers where they can find Fixer Up the Lake House so they can go and watch it?
Sure, yeah. It's on the HBO Max app. It's also on Magnolia Network streaming, and it's been airing on HGTV as well. So it's actually on 3 different platforms at once, so it should be hopefully easy to find.
And Jo, you might have to dig back a little further in her Instagram, but she this time around wanted to be able to showcase some of the spaces that we don't show on air. We've limited amount of time in the episodes, and a lot of stuff gets done that you just never see. And so she's been posting sort of like her POV of some of the other rooms that weren't shown on the show, just so fans and viewers can get a glimpse of those spaces, which I thought was a fun, accoutrement to the episodes.
Yeah, there's only so much you can show in an episode, but we will make sure that we include Joe's Instagram handle on there, so if anybody wants to find that, they can go and get it. But Jarrett, Aric, thank you so much for taking the time, for coming down here, for answering our questions, and more than anything, thank you for making stuff like this in Texas. We're big fans. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, we're proud to do it, honestly.
Yeah.
It's great. It's a great privilege.